Hi, in today's video we are going to find the answer of a very interesting question about literature, that what is purpose of literature. This is Muhammad Anis and you are watching literaturely.com. If you're a student of literature or you have interest in literature, you might have been asked by people that what is purpose of literature. There are other branches of knowledge, they do have some kind of benefit, they have some practical purpose to serve. What is the purpose of literature? Why it is written, why it is read? These all are imaginary stories, tales. It is just a fanciful word. Why on earth people waste their time in reading these black letters against white backgrounds? This is an age of development and growth. Everyone wants to grow, everyone wants to make progress and development. Definitely physics, chemistry, economics, all these branches of knowledge give you some kind of benefit, give you some kind of edge that you can make your living or you can learn about material things. Then again the question comes, what is purpose of literature? Why we study literature, or why should we study literature? That is very important and that is very interesting, and we are going to answer all these questions in this video. Let's answer to all those people who have ever asked you this question, that what is purpose of literature. Tell them the basic and foremost purpose of literature is to get aesthetic pleasure. The writer who write these poems, these books, these novels, these stories, they get aesthetic pleasure by writing those tales, and the readers who read these books, these novels, these plays and read these poems, they also get aesthetic pleasure by reading them. Now question arises, what is aesthetic pleasure? We all are born with the quality of sense of appreciation of beauty known as aesthetic sense. We all naturally possess this quality of aesthetic sense. So it is our aesthetic sense that forces us to read these books, to read these tales, to read these poems. You can recall your childhood. We all used to listen to the stories told by our grandparents. Those stories were very interesting and we loved to hear those stories from our grandparents. Why we used to love those stories? Because they provided us with aesthetic pleasure. We had no interest in the themes, we had no interest in the moral messages of those stories. Why we loved them? We loved them for the characters, we loved them for the plot, and we loved them the way our grandparents used to tell that story. Definitely they want to teach us something, but we had no interest in learning anything at that time. We just loved the stories for the stories themselves. That is what aesthetic pleasure is. When we read a story, we watch a movie for the sake of watching it, for the sake of reading it as a story. That is called aesthetic sense, and our aesthetic sense that moves us, that forces us to read a poem, read a novel or watch a play. So the basic and primary purpose of literature is to provide aesthetic pleasure to its reader. Now let's move further into this discussion. There are two major schools of thought about the purpose of literature. One school of thought says art should be for the sake of art. Literature should be for the sake of literature. It should be written for the sake of literature. It should be read for the sake of literature. The second school of thought says art should be for the sake of life, or art should be for the sake of society, or art should be for the sake of world. Let's discuss them one by one. First of all, art for the sake of art. This school of thought says art should be written for the sake of art. There should be no other purpose behind writing a literary work, behind writing a drama or a novel or poetry. A writer must keep in mind that he should create the best story, he should write the best play, he should write the best poem that can have effect on the reader, that can move the reader, or that can amuse the reader, that can make a reader weep, or that can make a reader laugh. But there should be no other purpose than writing a good story itself. So the believers of this school of thought believe that literature should not serve any other purpose. It should not be written for the sake of morality. It should not be written for the sake of society. It should not be written for solving the problem of a society or the problems of individual. But it should be written for the sake of literature itself. Though literature does serve other purposes at the same time, but the writer never has that thing in mind, and he does not want to teach or preach to the people who are reading the book. They just want to entertain them, they just want to give them joy and happiness of reading a good story or reading a good poem. Now let's talk about the second school of thought, literature for the sake of life. literature for the sake of society, literature for the sake of reformation, literature for the sake of morality, literature for the sake of teaching. These all thoughts are blended in this school of thought, that literature should be written for the sake of life. It should teach how we should live. It should teach how we should behave. It should teach how we can make our life better, and it should teach that what a good human being is and how a human being should behave. All these questions are asked by this school of thought, and they believe that it is the responsibility of the writer that he should teach, he should guide, and he should tell the people that what they should do. So a writer must tell his reader that what is the difference between good and evil, what is good in being good and what is evil in being evil. He should teach his readers that how a hero saves the society and how a villain ruins the society. There must be some purpose, there must be some theme, there must be some moral lesson in any story which a reader is reading or which a writer is writing. So literature must be like a compass. It should be a guide, it should be a teacher, it should be a preacher who tell the people how to live in life, how to live in this world, how to be good, how to be a good human being, and it motivates, it inspires, and it guides the people through the dark patches of life. Those who believe in art for the sake of life, they say literature should not be written only for the sake of aesthetic pleasure. There should be some purpose behind writing any book, writing any poem or writing any novel. It should not be just for the sake of aesthetic pleasure. For them, aimless literature is useless. There is no use of writing any book, writing any form of literature if it does not serve any purpose. But here is a question: is aesthetic pleasure not a purpose? Is giving some kind of happiness to the reader in the form of a good story not a purpose? So you can decide on your own that what should be the purpose of literature. Is aesthetic pleasure enough, or there should be some moral lesson? It's up to the reader how he takes it. So we don't say that there should be strict adherence to one school of thought or to the other school. Last but not the least, let's talk about usefulness of literature. We have talked about the purpose of literature. Now let's see what is the usefulness of literature in this world. We all know that this is a material world, and we prefer to get knowledge of those branches of knowledge which have some kind of material usage. For example, physics, chemistry, and other branches of knowledge have some kind of material benefits. But what benefit does literature give to us? So let me stand here for literature. Literature might not be giving you some material benefits, but certainly it gives us spiritual benefits. It is good for our soul, it is good for humanity, it is good for all of us, and it keeps us sane, it keeps us good, it internally motivates us, it urges our spirits, it makes us fight against the odds, it makes us shine in adversity. So it provides us with everything that we can fight against the odds of life quite successfully. So we can say that literature is far more beneficial than other branches of knowledge. They all are matter, but literature is soul. It makes us shine, it motivates us, it encourages us to fight, it encourages us to get our rights, it encourages us to find the problems of the society and also to find the solution of the problems of society. It's just like a diagnostic laboratory. We can find all the problems of society through literature, and it highlights those problems, and not only highlights those problems but also try to find the answer and solution of those problems. So to conclude the discussion, we can say that literature is a good friend of man. It makes us happy when we are sad. It keeps us motivated when we are dejected. It shows us path when we have no other way out. It does something which no other branch of knowledge can do. All other branches are material branches of knowledge, but it is spiritual. It makes us sane. It keeps us happy. It keeps us hopeful. It brings optimism. It brings happiness, and it creates a word which is ideal. In literature, we can create a word as we like it. This word is harsh. This word is very hard to face, but literature makes us able to fight against the odds of life. Let's have a quick recap of today's video. In today's video, we have talked about the purpose of literature. The sole and basic purpose of literature is to provide aesthetic pleasure to its reader. It is also written for life. It is also written for the sake of society. It is a kind of guide and a teacher that teaches us how we can live an ideal life. So that is all from today's video. I hope you have liked this video. Do like and share our videos. If you have any suggestion or any question, do comment in our comment section. Don't forget to subscribe literaturely.com and also click the bell icon so that you may have regular notifications of our new videos. Don't forget to like our Facebook page and also follow us on Instagram and Twitter. So love life, love people around you, love literature, and be happy till the next video. Bye bye.